As if pushing India over Russian oil imports wasn't enough. Now the US has a new complaint.
They block us from their economy. They put tariffs on everything.
Corn. In a sharp remark, US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick recently said, India has 1.4 billion people. Why aren't they buying our corn?
Why won't their 1.4 billion people buy 1 bushel of US corn?
He claimed India just wants to sell to the US without buying anything in return. But why corn? And why now? Here's what's really going on. The US is the world's top corn producer, accounting for over 30% of global output. In 2024-25, America harvested a staggering 377.6 million tons of corn. Of this, 71.7 million tons was exported, and exports matter. Back in 2022, the US earned $18.6 billion from corn exports. China alone bought $5.2 billion worth, followed by Mexico, Japan, Canada, and Colombia. But in 2024, exports fell to just $13.7 billion. China's purchases collapsed to only $331 million, thanks to rising trade tensions and a pivot to Brazil. With one of its biggest buyers gone, the US is desperate to find new takers. But what makes American corn hard to sell? Well, here's the problem. Almost all of America's corn, over 92%, is genetically modified. It's not what most countries want to eat, especially not India. India bans GM corn for both human and animal consumption, citing concerns like potential toxicity, the risk of transferring antibiotic-resistant genes, and lack of long-term safety data. India instead imports non-GM corn from countries like Myanmar and Ukraine. But doesn't India need more corn now? Yes, and here's the twist. India used to export corn, but recently it's been importing instead. Why? Because of a domestic push to blend ethanol with petrol, a big part of India's clean energy mission. This has increased demand for maize, but still, India doesn't want GM corn from the US. This isn't just about agriculture. Corn is a deeply political crop in America. Less than 1% is eaten directly. The rest goes into animal feed, ethanol, industrial goods like high fructose corn syrup, paints, and plastics. Corn farmers also get massive subsidies, around 30% of all US federal farm aid. So, when export markets shrink, it's not just about money, it's about votes. And with the 2026 elections around the corner, the pressure is on. Lutnick's statement wasn't random. It reflects real frustration in Washington. But can the US pressure India into buying what it has repeatedly rejected? Or will New Delhi stick to its stand on GM crops, food sovereignty, and consumer safety? At least for now, India's answer seems clear. No to genetically modified corn, no matter how hard the US pushes.